The Utah Mammoth is sorta proud to present NASHCAST.
What the is a NASHCAST?
NASHCAST, the only hockey show on the planet. Hosted by a human speed bag, fourth line wannabe, healthy scratch, schnozzy moto, Tyson Nash.
Who the hell is Tyson Nash?
Never heard of him.
And the baritone with a brain, the velvet hammer, Mr. Silky, Tono Suave, the radio voice of your Utah Mammoth,
Go Blue!
Mike Folta.
Oh, Captain, my Captain!
NASHCAST begins now.
Ready for takeoff.
Here's Tyler Ganoush and Mickey Foghorn. Wait, what? Oh, here's Tyson Nash and Mike Folta.
Feeling not so good. Not so good, Fultz.
What's up, loser?
Like, look at that jersey. Like, the wound isn't even healed yet. It's just salt in the wound. Please tell me that's not Rizzioni. Is that Matthews or Rizzioni?
No. This is Rizzo. This is Mikey Rizzioni. I don't know if you can see the back a little bit there.
Oh my goodness. Like, all I can tell you is I'm just happy you guys won. I'm actually happy you guys won. Let's put it that way. I am so done with the miracle. Like, it's been 46 years, Fultz. Like, 46 years. I hope the size of America, what is it, 340 million people? Canada's 33 million, okay? That's the size of the state of California. So I would hope you guys would win. I wish it didn't take 46 years because every year I had to hear about the miracle. Unreal story, unreal movie, all the things, but please, like, win again. And you finally did. Not sure you deserved it. I mean, Canada absolutely dominated you guys. Like, what were the shots? Like 46-22? Like, your goalie stood on his head, but good teams find a way to win, and you guys won. So let me hear it. Let me hear it.
You got 4 more years of this. You got 4 more years of this until these teams meet again. And what is the goalie not part of the team? Like, I keep seeing, like, Canada deserved to win, U.S. didn't deserve to win. Like, the goalie's part of your team, and the Americans have the best goalie in the world. And look, Binnington was good. We criticized Binnington. And we questioned that, like, he was great, but the story was Connor Hellebuck.
Oh, was it ever? Dude, how about some of those saves? Like, it was ridiculous. Are you kidding me? Taves, did you see that save? The most ridiculous.
Where do you put that in terms of, like, greatest save ever? Like, not highest degree of difficulty, but, like, considering the stage and what was at stake, and the fact that if Devon Taves puts that in, it's over, right?
Yeah, done. I think it's the biggest save for sure in Olympic men's hockey history. It has to be. I mean, that performance from start to finish, and as good as Binnington was, because he did his job, right? But I got a couple things I want to talk about in that game. First of all, that Boldy move, and no one talked about it. The fact that first of all, they talked about the flip, they talked about the second touch on the puck, but they didn't talk about him taking his stick and knocking. Who was it? Taves again? It was Makar and Taves. So not only did
the Colorado guys,
the 2 best defensemen in the world, maybe, right? For sure, one.
The best pair in the world.
Best pair. But so he flips it, he taps it again, and then he takes his stick and he knocks Taves' stick out of the way, right? Taves is going to defend that puck, and he can't because of the stick tap from Boldy. I mean, it was, and then the finish, right? Then he finishes the play off. I would have been so excited that I just got between those two that I would have ended up dumping it in the corner. That would have been a goal to me, but that was absolutely lights out ridiculous for me.
Yeah, he was out there to start overtime for the Americans too. So you could see what Mike Sullivan thought of him. And look, he's having a great year with Minnesota, but it feels like Matt Boldy is one of those guys who could be reaching, like, that next level of superstardom. How about the play from Austin Matthews on the wall to get Boldy the puck there? And he made some other good defensive plays for the U.S. He's the captain of a gold medal team, Matthews. He's taken a lot of criticism from
Yeah.
the Toronto media over the
He
years.
gets abused. He gets abused, Fultz. I'm glad you brought that up because I wasn't gonna. This is a guy that just gets lambasted, right? And then when he makes really good plays, which he does, his 200-foot game was as good as I've seen from, first of all, anyone on both teams. But for him, because we all know how offensive explosive this guy is, but I didn't think that was a big part of his game. But to see him be able to do it, that is next level. And I think that's going to help him further in his career. All these guys, when you win something like that, of that magnitude, your game just propels to an entirely different level. So I love that. I'm glad you brought that point up. Matthews was unreal in that tournament. So
we're a few days removed for it, but it's still so fresh in everybody's mind, and there's so many things to go into. Got to talk about the gold medal, the overtime winner, Jack Hughes. Have you ever had a tooth chipped? I never have. I've heard it's so painful. I mean, most of your
look at these teeth, dude. I got a good dentist. That's all I'll say. I think what saved him, though, is it was high enough that the root wasn't exposed, unless he was completely frozen. And they would have had to do that on the bench because I didn't see him leave the bench. So I think, for his pain threshold, if that root was exposed, I can tell you there's no way he could have done it. Because unless he had a mouth guard, which I don't think he did. That's why he lost it. But ridiculous. That is a hockey player. That's going to go down as one of the most iconic pictures. Like, that is a hockey player. Long way from the heart. Guy continues to play. Then he scores the game-winning goal. The other part I loved is that I think in the middle of the night, Quinn, they shared a room, right? They were roommates. My wife told me this morning at breakfast during coffee, and I was like, did that really happen? Like, Quinn Hughes is like, hey, are you sleeping? He's like, oh, I'm just dreaming about scoring the game-winning goal. Like, who does that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it was ridiculous. Start to finish. And I do also want to talk about the goal itself. And kids at home, if you're listening, you're watching, I'll say this. No one, and how could you? You can't. And first of all, the broadcast was lights out. Eddie O, Boosh, Albert, all of it. It was top notch.
Incredible.
As good as it gets. No one's going to rip Team Canada for the breakdown on the goal. But oh my God. Like, I think we have to talk about it. Do we not? These are the three best players in the world in Connor McDavid, Nathan MacKinnon, and Cale Makar. And all three of them deserve a ton of blame for that goal. I didn't love 3-on-3 hockey, but let's face it, it is what it is, right? I would think Canada would be the better team in that scenario, so I'm not even going to go down that road, right? And especially those three players on the ice. Makar, up the ice, makes the mistake, gets his pocket picked by the eventual game-winning player, Jack Hughes, pokes it ahead. Then there's a battle. I don't know why Nathan MacKinnon, and I'm the last person that's going to critique him because he's such a stud. I love him. But how does he not touch that puck? How does he not just grab it and go with it? Instead, he gets in a one-on-one battle, and he gets tossed by Werenski. Literally tossed, right? And then Makar, well, McDavid as well, was right there and didn't take a look. Everyone's puck watching, right? Watching Werenski, what he's going to do with it, what's happening with the battle. And everyone also, when you play 3-on-3, is trying to conserve energy because they want to go back the other way. You don't want to lay all your energy out defensively, right? So you do as little almost as possible. But Makar, all he had to do was take 2 more strides, and he is right there with Jack Hughes, and that goal is never scored. So I don't know. I hate to be the bearer of breaking that goal down, but I think everyone's watched it 100 times, right? And you're like, how did that just happen? So
this is incredible. I know they're all feeling it. This is like hearing a Canadian go back through this. It's like watching a mortician do an autopsy on himself. It's the best. Like, this is just,
you don't want to see what's in this body. I can tell you that.
This is great. This is great. Well, and give credit to Werenski too for hawking him down. Right? Dude. I mean, he's an incredible player. Had a great Olympics. Was playing with Quinn Hughes a ton, who was fantastic in his own right. The other Hughes brother. But just electric stuff. How about the missed open net from MacKinnon earlier in the game, third period? I mean, that could have been the game right there. And he just yanked it. Like, Did it kind of handcuff him? I mean, it was
I
a
think
bang play.
I think it surprised them,
Yeah.
right? And I think the nerves were just so high, even for those guys, right? So my point to all that, the autopsy that I just broke down on Team Canada, my own country, I feel awful doing it because like I couldn't even carry those guys' jock straps, right? That's how good of players they are. But I'm an analyst and you got to break down the goal. And I know no one felt worse than those three guys because I think they all played a part in allowing Jack Hughes to get open, right? Because I know they were saving their energy to go back the other way and score for themselves. But kids at home, everybody makes mistakes. I watch my son in the stands, ASU, and I'm like, what's going on? Look at that play. What happened there? My wife's like, are you kidding me? Oh, yeah, because you were perfect. You never made a mistake. Oh, yeah, oh, right? So mistakes happen, even to the best players on the planet. And those three, literally, if I'm making a team, Foltz, it's McDavid, it's McKinnon, it's McCarr.
Yeah.
In that order. So
hey, what
happens?
To quote the movie Miracle, your favorite, we're not looking for the best players. We're looking for the right ones. And
oh God.
Team USA had the right players.
The lucky ones. The lucky ones.
I guess.
But couldn't you feel it? I could feel it. And I don't know about you. Maybe you couldn't because you were on the other side. But as a Canadian who I thought dominated the game, like utterly dominated the game. But they couldn't score. And I'm like, you could just tell Hellebuck had it. There was no chance that puck was firing the back of the net. It was opportunity after opportunity. And I was like, oh boy, I don't like this. I don't like the way this feels. I didn't like anything about it. And sure enough, they get it to overtime. That was their hope. That was their only hope, was getting it to overtime.
When you guys didn't score on the 5-on-3, the minute and a half long 5-on-3 in the second period, were you worried then? Because it actually turned out to be like a momentum changing penalty or power play where you guys were by far the more dangerous team from that point on, even though you didn't score there.
Yeah.
I
was worried. I was very worried. I was worried until the US had nothing in the tank. Like they completely left it all on the ice in the first 10 minutes of that hockey game. They were like that first shift. Are you kidding me? Like, I don't think we touched the puck. We couldn't even break out of our own zone for the first 3-4 minutes of the game. So, but after that, I'm like, okay, we're in control. But then that 5-on-3, this is an opportunity to score. This is a chance to bury it. And they didn't, right? And it gave the momentum, I thought, could have gave the momentum back to Team USA because they were so bad. They couldn't connect on passes. Execution was terrible. But anyway, one hell of a hockey game. I'm happy for Team USA. I really am. And that Johnny Gaudreau stuff, oh my God. I was sobbing like a baby. Literally. When they went and got the kids and brought them on the ice for the team picture, when they showed his mom and dad, his dad kind of broke down a little bit. I could break down right now. If that is not like one of the biggest, coolest moments in sports history, I really don't know what is. And yeah, getting choked up again. It was just so sad.
It's crazy because they had his stall up, his jersey up during the Four Nations tournament, and even during the World Championships in the spring, and like nobody would have said anything if they did not honor him at the Olympics, right? Like, I don't think anybody would have said, oh, they're being disrespectful. Like they had every opportunity to not include the Gaudreau family and the Gaudreau name the way they did, but they made it a point to keep him and his memory in the middle of all that, which was so special. But on a lighter note, like I wanted to ask you, a Canadian who like you watched that goal, you're like, oh my God, you can't believe it, right? What do you think is more painful for those players? To watch that, to be on the ice, those three guys to be on the ice and watch that go in, or to be standing in line, get handed a silver medal, and then get handed a stuffed animal,
a Beanie Baby,
and have to pretend to like not rip its head off.
Oh, I loved it. I posted on our pod or on social media on Instagram, NASHCAST official on Instagram. McKinnon's reaction to to that, like, first of all, I love his compete. I heard he's such a fiery, passionate guy. Like I've seen him and the coach go at it on the bench, like literally go at it. So you don't want to poke the bear. He was on the ice. I know he missed the open net, all the things, and then you get a silver medal, which he wasn't impressed with. And then you get handed that Beanie Baby, and he's looking at thing and he's going, "What the F is this?" Like literally, you can read his lips. I'm like, this is unbelievable. But I don't know what the story is behind those Beanie Babies, but I can tell you in 25 years, those Beanie Babies are going to be worth a fortune. So whatever it is, hang on to them, give them to your kids. Don't let them bite and drool all over them, or especially your dog. But that was pretty funny.
Those things are getting ripped to shreds in the Canadian dressing room. That's my guess. But Olympics in the books, gold medal to the U.S. and for the women as well with a sweep. Megan
Okay,
Keller
don't rub it in. Now you're rubbing it in. Now you're rubbing it in. And I will say this. I also said this on Instagram polls. What's going on in Canada right now? Like the Edmonton Oilers, they can't win to save their lives when it matters, right? The Blue Jays get spanked. The Whitecaps, our soccer team, our women's hockey team, our men's hockey team. That's 5 now, right? So I don't know what's going on in Canada, but
we do have today's Wednesday. We do have Mammoth hockey today. Finally, Tyson. We resumed to play. We play the Colorado Avalanche tonight at the Delta Center. It's a rude welcome back to the NHL schedule for Utah with Colorado tonight and Minnesota coming up on Friday. Now, we did hear from Jared Bednar, the Avalanche head coach. He said he might consider sitting the guys who were in that gold medal game in the Olympics, Devon Toews, Cale Makar, and Nathan McKinnon, because of travel and all that stuff, and difficult getting back from Milan to the U.S. So, not sure what the Avalanche lineup is gonna look like here as we record this right now. But you got to think, Tyson, if those guys are on the lineup, they are not going to be happy, and they're going to be motivated to try to accomplish their next goal this year, which is win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, that's a great point. For me, though, I think that's a huge advantage to Utah, right? I mean, also, I want to say congratulations to Oli Mata. Holy Mata, right? I mean, he gets a bronze medal. So congrats to him. Clayton Keller. I think Kells is going to be fired up. I think he's juiced. I think your comment that you just made, motivation to get his team to the playoffs, right? The Utah Mammoth have put themselves in such a good spot right now to do exactly that. And I think they're going to get there just because of some of the teams, where they're headed, falling off, some of the injuries that are going around the league in the Mammoth division, which I think is going to be very favorable. And then for me, playing Colorado, Nathan McKinnon, Makar, Toews, I think I think they're going to be really unmotivated if they even play, right? Because you're coming back. That's the biggest letdown you could ever have. You have been looking forward to this for 4 years, maybe longer, right? And then you lose in that game, in that way, in that fashion. I think it would be real difficult for those guys to get up for that first game back, right? Second, third game, very different, but that first one, that's going to be difficult. So, and even for Keller, right? I mean, he's going to be playing on fumes just because of the travel. I know Kells didn't play a ton in that game, but he's going to be riding high, and he's going to be playing on fumes and emotion. So,
selfishly, we would have liked to have watched, Clayton Keller score that OT goal, right? Like, we would have liked to see him out there every shift. Same with Vejmelka for the Czechs and Peterka for the Germans, and Mata for the Finns. But really, a lot of them, the 4 Mammoth who were there, didn't play a ton in Milan. Like, Peterka was one of the lead guys for Germany, but they were bounced early. Karel Vejmelka didn't play at all for the Czechs. And so you have a lot of guys who they got that Olympic experience. A couple of them got a medal, but they're not banged up. They're not worn down like some of the other top players are around the league. And you got to factor in.
We don't know the extracurricular activities off the ice, though, right? Because I can tell you, and even for Kells, I think he's a single guy. I don't know. I'm guessing. But can you imagine? I just won a gold medal. First of all, whether you won or lost, you're in the Olympic Village with hundreds of athletes, your same age, your same, all of it, right? So much in common with them. I don't know what happens in that village, but I can only imagine. So hopefully those guys got some rest. But if it was me and I was single, not a chance. I am burning the candle at both ends, folks. Let's go.
I think they were. There was a post put out by the 11 Club in Miami, where the Panthers party. That Team USA was coming to Miami to rip it up on Monday night. So, not sure what that looked like. Obviously, didn't get the invite, but reinforcements for Utah also in the form of Logan Cooley and Alexander Kerfoot, two guys who are expected to be back from injury. That's going to be like picking up a trade acquisition. And you're getting a more dynamic player.
Absolutely, Fultz. That's a great call by you. I didn't know Kerfoot is back, so that's news to me. I know Cools. He was on the NASHCAST before the break. He's chomping at the bit. We know that what he brings, all of it, and those two players bring something totally different from one another, right? Kerfoot can play anywhere in your lineup, but he brings that grit, that sandpaper. You know, he's a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, PK.
He literally does it all. PK, face-offs, you name it. This guy is so important, especially as you get closer to that push, right? And this is going to be a push. In fact, it's going to be a sprint to the playoffs. And I think this is going to be different this year because last year, the year before that, and the last 10 years that I've been following this team, it's been way too long. They have folded in those moments. When the games are the most important, that's when they cave. This year, I think it's going to be totally different. I think they're going to rise. I think they're going to continue to win. In fact, I think this Olympic break was the best thing the Utah Mammoth could have ever had, right? Is to reset, refocus, retool, and come out of the gates like it's the start of a season, new season, getting to the playoffs. So I think this is going to be a different year. I'm so excited for the Utah Mammoth fans. The game starts February 25th. That's a huge one against Colorado. Then we got Minnesota. Then we have another NASHCAST on March 1st. So I got Trevor Lewis, Fultz, coming as my co-host. I'm so pumped. He's a local guy from Salt Lake City, born and raised. He's got some amazing stories. So I can't wait to have him on the NASHCAST. He's excited. We have Jordan Tutu coming on as well. That's a guy I'm really excited about. We're trying to get Hillary Knight on the show as well. I'm not sure if they're going to recognize all the Olympians that are from the Salt Lake area, but I'm sure hoping that happens. If it does, she's going to be on in the second period with us, and Stefan Yell as well as my first period guest. He's a two-time Stanley Cup champion with the Colorado Avalanche in 96, the 1.0, and then the 2.0 in 2001 as well. So can't wait for that. But obviously we had a huge guest that we're going to be showing right now, and that's my good buddy Russ Courtnall. This guy's as good as it gets. He's got the biggest heart on the planet. Again, the research, Fultz, is so much fun. Researching their journey. You think you know players and about players, but you really don't. What this guy has been through, losing his father at a young age, him and his brother Jeff. I mean, it was absolutely heartbreaking. So he goes into a lot of that, obviously his great career. I played with his brother Jeff in St. Louis with the Blues. We talk about that a little bit. So I hope everyone enjoys this next interview with Russ Courtnall. Yeah, and we have, again, another special guest. This guy for me is, he doesn't know it because he can't be jock sniffing around on property, right, in Idaho. Yeah. But this guy is an absolute beauty. Heartfelt conversations. He's always got a cigar. He's always got a glass of wine or a bottle of wine for someone. So generous, and what a player. He was one of my favorites growing up. Played for the Vancouver Canucks. And again, this is that's our man right there. He's got the wine. Russ, what's up, Russ?
Hey, how are you guys?
Look at you. You got all dressed up for us.
Yeah, I actually put a collared shirt on.
Where's the
I
cigar?
shaved too. I had him this morning.
I still got the salad. If there's one thing I was jealous of.
No,
It's looking good. Looking good.
Well, thanks for the intro, but the salad is it's missing a few leaves.
Hey, nothing turkey can't fix. We might fire that jet up and I'll go down there, Russ.
How are you guys doing? What a great show. I've seen some stuff on Instagram, and you guys are doing a great job. It's awesome that we've got two veterans in a new market that are making the experience for the new fans great. So great on you guys that you're doing such a good job.
Well, thanks, Russ. We appreciate it. And for all our fans that are watching, this is Russ Courtnall. He's from Duncan, BC, I believe, which is Souk Potholes. I spent a lot of my childhood jumping in.
Wrong way.
Wrong way?
Yeah.
Other way. All right. Well,
Other way. No. Yeah.
Duncan, BC, folks. He played over 1,000 games in the National Hockey League, scored 297 goals, 744 points. I mean, that is unbelievable. I also heard a podcast that said you had 20 fights. Is that true? 20 fights in the National Hockey League, Russ. Are you kidding me? You do it all.
Hey, you two will appreciate this because I wasn't a fighter. I'm in Toronto. I'm doing I did the TSN show, and it was on concussions. And they had this for and against fighting, and they had two guys on each side. I can't remember who was on the show. And the host asked me how many fights I was in. I played 16 years, so I said I was in 16 fights. And he goes, "No, you were in 20." I was so excited that I was in 20 fights. That night, I'm in Maple Leaf Gardens, or the new the new arena with Wendel Clark. And I said, "Hey, Clarky, I just found out I was in 20 fights in my career. How many do you have?" And he goes, "First year I played with you, I was in 36.
in 1 year.
In 1 year.
And he won them all, probably.
Yeah. He deflated me, but fighting's a great part of the game. I only fought when I got so frustrated and pissed off, and I always fought somebody like myself, wasn't a fighter, but I had a couple surprises. Thomas Steen played for Winnipeg. He hit me so hard in Maple Leaf Gardens. All I could think of was Don Cherry going, "A Swede beat up a Western boy." I hung in there. You can Google the fight. And I think I missed the next game because I couldn't see out of my one eye. But it was one of the best fights I was ever in, but all I could think about was Don Cherry going, you can't lose to a Swede. You can't lose to a Swede. I've never been hit that hard in my life. I tell his son all the time, "Your dad hit me. It was like a freaking brick."
It's funny, Russ, because back then, and it's a different game than it's played today. And I don't want to say it was better then or it was better now. It was just different. That's just evolution of the game, like anything in life. But skilled guys had to fight sometimes back then. And when you're going to take a two-hand here, you're going to take a face wash to the face, and you have to stand up for yourself, or guys are going to take advantage of skilled guys.
Yeah, and it was definitely part of the game. Jeff, my older brother Jeff, who played 17 years, and he fought a lot more than me. We both took boxing lessons in Victoria, where we grew up, and we were expected to be able to fight. I didn't want to fight, but there was those 20 times that it was my choice. I don't think anyone ever came after me. They came after me, but I didn't. I think it was a mutual thing. I fought Dale Howarchuk, and
wow,
he dropped the gloves with me. It was hilarious, and he didn't think I could fight, and that was a good one for me. But anyways, yes, back in the day, fuck my dog. Sorry, I swore. They told me not to swear, and I swore.
He's looking for the peanut butter, Russ.
Anyways, I might have to put this guy outside. Hang on one second.
It is funny, though, because back then, like, you had skilled guys that fought just to get some room.
Yeah.
Obviously, his was out of anger against another guy, and I played with Dale Howarchuk, God rest his soul. But, man, if you didn't beat up Ducky, you weren't beating up anyone.
Yeah, it was. But back to your point, when we when, you know, I'm 6 years old now, and part of the game back then was just looking after yourself. And man, there was brawls back then. We had Toronto, we had one against Detroit, and I got paired up with a Grodnik, thank God, because he didn't want to fight. But I remember my brother always saying, you know, you've got to learn how to take care of yourself just in case you get in one. So it is what it is. The game is really good today. The skill level is unreal. I think we miss the toughness, you know, I don't think I ever got an elbow penalty in my life, because if you elbowed or cross-check somebody, you were going to get in a fight. And then when they took it out of the game, you know, you were going to pay a price for being a dick. And I think I think the part we're missing in the game is that you can act tough and you don't have to back it up.
Yeah, 1,000%. Well, you look at the UFC, right? It's the most watched sport on the planet, and fighting cannot leave our game. I know the Quebec League, they're taking it out of that league. I think it's a massive miss. The number one things the fans still cheer about, and we just got a goal here, Russ.
First minute.
Oh yeah.
57 seconds.
There we go.
In.
That's how you start the game. This is a good team, Detroit, and I'll tell you what, this game is kind of a little bit worrisome, because everyone's got a trip planned somewhere, right? They're going to Cabo, the Olympic break. It's
Fire the Jets up, baby.
yeah. The amount of money these guys make, but fighting is a huge part of our game, and it can't go anywhere because it's still so popular.
Yeah, for the people who don't understand it, it's self-policing. You know, you can't take advantage of certain people. You know, Gino Ojek in Vancouver, when players would go after Pavel, he would just go over to the best player in front of their bench and say, next shift, I'm going to kill you if you don't stop, you know, touching Pavel. And, you know, that player would yell at their guy who was trying to take advantage of Pavel, and it would end. But when it didn't, there was a fight. And, you know, it was usually well-deserved. And like you said, the fans loved it. They do love it. I don't like the stage fighting where I love the Wendel Clark, go in the corner, hit a guy, everybody turns around, look at each other, drop the gloves, boom, 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 look at each other. You two fought like that. You don't, the guys who put their arms out as far as they can and their head in the other direction, it's not fighting. Come on. Go toe-to-toe. Take it from the guy who can't fight.
It's funny you bring up Gino in that. I played junior against Gino. He played in Laval. They had a guy named Daniel Arsenault, who was 6'7". They had Sandy McCarthy, another guy, Jean Blouin. Like, it was a tough place to go. But one of my first games ever was in Vancouver, and I was running around. I think I went after Pavel a little bit, and Gino came and did the same thing. He's like, next shift, we're going. And he laid a beating on me. That big boy, and I love Gino. God rest his soul, man. But
I love Gino. I got to play with Gino in Vancouver, but I knew all about him before. And Jeff, my brother Jeff, Pavel, and Gino were tight. So when they came on the road and they played against me wherever I was playing, we'd hang out, we'd have dinner together. So I knew all about Gino. But one of the funniest stories about Gino, he, God rest his soul, he would say some amazing things. In the old Vancouver Stadium, they would put up these huge signs, and during, I don't know what war it was, but it was
the Gulf War.
Gulf War, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And he's standing beside my brother during the anthem on the bench, and there's this sign up because Gino's kicking the shit out of everybody in the league, and that he's fighting, and he just got in the league, and he's absolutely hammering guys, and he's standing beside my brother. Anthem's going on. He looks up, and there's a sign up that says "Sick Gino on Saddam." And he, after the anthem, he elbows my brother and goes, "What number, Saddam?"
So good. So good.
You got the voice down too, Russ. Holy jeez.
Gino was the best. You know what? He was such, like most of the tough guys, kind souls. Like Wendel Clark, one of the nicest people you ever meet in your life. And Semenko, I got to play with in Toronto, one of the gentlest human beings you've ever met. On the ice, these guys were unbelievably scary and tough, but off the ice, they weren't. And Gino was that guy. He was a gentle giant off the ice, but man, oh man, he was scary on the ice.
Russ,
Great teammate.
Russ, I remember I was a black ace when Vancouver went to the Stanley Cup Finals. And I'll never forget, we had a couple days off, or maybe it was before the series was going to start, and Pavel is going to take us golfing, me and Dave Scatchard golfing. So it's me, Gino, Dave Scatchard, and Bure. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, this couldn't be any cooler. He made us drink a beer a hole. And I'm like, I wasn't a big drinker at all. I was so hammered. At the end of the round, he's like, "You're coming for salmon at my house." So we all load up into his Corvette, I think he had at the time, and we pull into the Indian Reserve, and we pull into this house that he's living at. The grass is probably 6 feet tall, and he pulls right onto the front lawn of this house, and we go into this house, and we have the best salmon I've ever had in my entire life, and that was like literally my welcome to the NHL moment, hanging out with Gino and Pavel. It was incredible.
My brother used to play tricks on Gino all the time, and Gino lived on the reservation in Vancouver, and he didn't pay taxes. I made twice as much as Gino, and every 2 weeks we get our paycheck, and he'd go, "Show me your check, show me your check." Then we'd have the exact same amount of money coming on our check. But when my brother played there, when Gino was like slacking a little bit and he needed a little motivation, my brother would go up to him and go, I don't know if I should be the one to tell you, but they're talking about trading you to Philadelphia. Well, there's no reservation in Philadelphia, and he's going to have to start paying taxes. That night, Gino would go out and have 2 fights. And he'd be running around because he never wanted to get traded from Vancouver because he made so much more money. He made twice as much as he would have anywhere else.
Unbelievable.
Russ, the one thing you're known for is your speed. Is it just innate ability you were born with, or is it something you worked on? But I think when anyone thinks Russ Courtnall in your playing days, it was your speed, taking it wide, taking it to the net. Obviously, you scored goals, but it was the speed that created the opportunities. Was that just something you had right from the get-go?
I think it was natural. I actually started out in figure skates. We didn't have a lot of money. My hand-me-downs were my sister's figure skates, so you learn how to skate pretty quick in white skates as a boy. But my dad
was cool.
My dad played hockey, and then we started taking power skating lessons, and I skated a lot. And I grew up in Victoria, British Columbia, where we didn't have outdoor rinks, so I skated a lot of public skating, so without the stick. And I think without the stick, you really work on your balance, your edges, public skating, believe it or not. But we, every summer, took power skating lessons, and that really helped. And my mom was a runner. My dad played hockey. And I just, I don't know, God, it was a God gift that I was able to skate as fast as I could. I did work on it, but it wasn't like I went from, it just happened over time. But I think it was funny because I wasn't a fast runner, could run long distance, but I could skate fast. So I was lucky, and it really helped me in my career.
What was that like?
It's amazing how fast you can skate when you're scared.
Yeah, that was the story of my career. I got to ask you about your childhood, growing up, your brother Jeff, Bruce as well, but you guys had very different journeys, you and your brother, right? I mean, he wasn't drafted. I guess he's a late bloomer, and you're in the top 10 in the first round of the Toronto Maple Leafs. How difficult was that? I know Jeff is 3 years older. I played with Jeff. What a player. What a career he had. I think he had 397 goals in his career, I believe, and a Stanley Cup. But what was it like growing up with you, Jeff, and Bruce?
Jeff's story is more amazing than mine because when I was a little kid, I was going to make it. I'm not saying that I thought I was going to make it, but people around my dad, who was coaching me when I was young, and my mom were always saying, he's going to play in the NHL. He's going to play in the NHL. And you know, when you're a little kid, you hear your parents' conversations in the kitchen, so I heard this, but I didn't believe it. Personally, I didn't think that I was going to make it until my first year in junior. But Jeff, no one talked about Jeff making it. He was really small. He didn't hit puberty till he was almost 17 or 18. Quit hockey for a year, worked on the oil fields, came back. And what happened with Jeff and I got traded from Medicine Hat to my rights, from Medicine Hat to Calgary to Victoria. Jeff was an overage in Victoria. I was 17 years old. They put us on a line together, and we both went. It just was unbelievable. And we played with a guy named Stu Kulak, and we had a great year. And so all these agents started watching me because of the draft, and recognizing this 20-year-old Jeff Courtnall. And he got signed by Boston as a free agent, and I got drafted 7th pick by Toronto. He helped me, and I helped him. But I was supposed to do what I did. He was never supposed to play in the NHL. Even the WHL, he struggled to make it there. And the guy's career is unbelievable. Like, he just never gave up. He's a stud athlete. And had a phenomenal career. So I'm so much more prouder of his career than mine.
I get to see a lot of
my younger brother never made it, by the way.
but he's got the looks.
Oh my God, he's got the looks.
And I know what Jeff has too.
Yeah. And Bruce, my younger brother, Bruce is tougher than Jeff.
Wow.
Hey,
yes.
What the hell is it with guys from Vancouver that played in Vancouver, like Greg Adams, your brother? These guys work their ass off in charity events. I mean, these guys are going full tilt when we are like half in the bag, not trying at all, and these guys are flying. And by mistake, I almost took your brother's teeth out last year just by mistake. I went to stick handle. I'm not a great stick handler.
Oh, no.
And I went right over the top, and he came in and he looked back at me like I was like, I am so sorry. But I literally almost took out those pearly whites. But man, do these guys try.
Yeah. Jeff and Greg it's unreal. Those two, it's like they haven't lost a step, and they're 60-something years old. I mean, Jeff's in great shape. He always has been, but he's still phenomenal. I'll tell you the story about how great an athlete Jeff is. I don't know what year it was after we retired, but he's going through a divorce. And so is my brother Bruce. So those two knuckleheads move in together, and it's a complete show. And anyways, they're living in Victoria, and my older brother Jeff is walking down Government Street, and he sees the sign up, street's going to be closed from this time to this time because of a marathon. He walks into a shoe store, buys a pair of runners. This is on a Monday. and he starts running Monday till the marathon on Sunday, and he qualified for the Boston Marathon.
That's wild.
That's a joke.
And he was out of shape, like he was like partying, and it's back when he was drinking. He's retired from boozing, but this is back when he was still having fun and a little overweight. Might have happened for 6 months of his life, but anyways, he's a stud.
Yes. Russ, I got to ask you, you played for Minnesota, which is a crazy story and very similar to what happened in Arizona, right? The team moves. We're now here in Utah. You moved from Minnesota to Dallas. I found that fascinating listening to that story and you tell it. But are you surprised that it's been so successful here in Utah and what they've been able to accomplish in such a short time?
I am. You've got a great owner in Ryan Smith. You and I both are friends with him through Gaza Ranch, which is great. He's young. He's obviously got the money, and he's really excited. And what better owner than a young guy like that, bringing it to his city, and the fans are enthusiastic. They're putting good product on the ice, and it's just great for hockey that you could go into a new market and people are excited about watching the game. So I'm really happy when teams move to these markets and they do well. So happy for Ryan, happy for everybody in Utah, and hopefully it just keeps going.
Utah just makes it 2-0. Nick Schmaltz again in the bumper. Fires at home. He's on fire. It's amazing. You as a goal scorer, it's like anything in life, right? When you get some confidence, you feel like you're going to score every single game, especially a goal scorer. And when you go through a streak where you don't score, you feel like you're never going to score again. As a scorer, Nick Schmaltz is absolutely on fire. Take us through what he's probably feeling right now. Hat-trick last game, another goal here early in this game as he goes into the Olympic break. Uh-oh, we got a breakaway.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Big save.
Big save. Like anything in life, when you're scoring or things are happening and it just seems so easy. It's kind of like when you were in Buffalo and you got to 19 and you couldn't get to 20, but you had 19 goals in Buffalo, didn't you?
I did. I didn't know if that was a dig, but that's a hell of a career for Nash.
I didn't have that many in practice, you pricks.
But it is, like you just feel confident, whether it's 19 for me or 36, like when you start scoring, like.
Absolutely. I wasn't a big goal scorer. The 1 year I had, you mentioned I had 36. It was in mini, great ice. And, we had a couple, back then when they had expansion teams, it was like a glorified junior team. So you could pick up a lot of points against those new expansion teams. Not like today where they're really good right out of the gate.
Yeah, the 93 Sens were fun to play against, weren't they?
Yes, they were. Yes, they were. In Minnesota, I can't remember. I think I had 5 points in the first 28 minutes of the game. And Bob Gainey didn't play me for the next 10 or 12 minutes. Crazy. Just, yeah, you've done well. I'm like licking my chops. I mean, it was so easy. But like anything in life, you when things are clicking, no matter what you're doing, everything seems so easy. But I think that comes from being prepared. You're mentally prepared, physically prepared, and whether you're a student, business person, an athlete, when you're prepared and you're feeling really good about yourself, things happen. When you're unprepared and your mind is elsewhere, or you're distracted, you're not focused. And so, this kid, obviously his focus is amazing. And with all people in life who are successful, their focus is second to none usually. It's not luck. Work hard to be lucky.
Yeah, you got that right. Russ, I thought it was a crazy story. I didn't know, but Austin Matthews, you had a big influence in Austin Matthews' career as a young kid. I know he skated with Lawton, your son, with a guy by the name of Boris, who's all over Arizona. The guy is the most incredible skating coach on the face of the earth. But just talk about the Austin Matthews story and how you played a part in it.
So I played with Claude Lemieux, and Claude had this hockey school in Park City, and he invited my son and myself, and I brought another 1990 was 96. So we went to Park City, and there's this Ukrainian skating coach out there, Boris Dorochenko, and it's unbelievable. Like Nyes was on the ice, Austin Matthews was on the ice, Claude Lemieux's kid was on the ice, kid in Vancouver, he was there. And I'm just this retired hockey player now, hockey coach, and there's a bunch of kids and a few kids from Mexico that Boris brought up from Mexico City that he had coached for 8 years. Anyways, the first thing that happened was I created a relationship with Boris Dorochenko selfishly because the next summer I wanted him to have camps in Canada, in Whistler, Vancouver, and Victoria, so that my son could go to this camp. And so Austin traveled with him. So Austin came up, and Lawton and Austin were roommates, and in Victoria, they stayed with my mom. And my mom kept telling me about this kid from Arizona, what a great kid he was. He was a couple of years younger than Lawton. He'd make his bed, is very polite, quiet. And so we all started paying attention to Austin at a young age. And then the next year I was coaching this BC Bruins spring hockey team with a friend from Kamloops, and I said, I want to bring this kid in from Arizona, and he's 2 years younger than all our kids. And the parents were like, no, spring hockey's so obnoxious. And so the parents were like, no, we don't want this kid. And I go, I swear to you, I make this up. I go, he is the best player in the United States for his age. I'm totally lying to the parents and the coach. I go, he's good, but I tell the story because I really want him to come, and then they're going to go to this skating. They're going to have the skating academy in, I think in Surrey or something after. So they like, okay. Well, it was our decision, but I'm just trying to suck up to the parents. So he comes first game, 2 goals, 4 assists.
You're like, oh,
yeah, thank God.
Told you. Yeah, this American kid. So his dad called me. His dad, Brian, called me a couple of years later and had a conversation with him about all these teams saying you should play up higher, higher level. And I saw Austin just for 2 or 3 summers, but only, as a dad, just watching your kids skate, power skating or whatever. But I'll tell you, he is a great human being. He and his family went through a tough time. And Boris Dorochenko took him under his wing, and I'm not saying that he wouldn't have made it without Boris, but Boris had a huge impact on his life, and his parents allowed that to happen because this kid traveled and lived with Boris in the summer, and so did my son. They were in Coeur d'Alene, Whistler, Surrey, Arizona, Vancouver, Victoria, and they would just go and travel around and have these awesome camps.
Russ, you played in some sick markets, okay? Obviously, getting
Yes.
drafted 7th overall by Toronto. You go to Montreal in a huge trade. You play in Vancouver. You're from BC, LA, Dallas. I mean, you played in 6 of the best markets that you could ever play in. Compare some of them, and just, did you have a favorite that you played in? And just the difference of playing in like Minnesota, which is Hockey USA, Toronto, Montreal, and then going out to LA, playing in an unconventional, but what became an unbelievable market as well.
Grew up a Toronto Maple Leaf fan. My favorite player was Boreas Salming.
Oh.
So getting drafted to Toronto was a dream come true. My dad, his rights belonged to Detroit, and he quit. He quit because back then the mill was paying $4,200 a year, and in the NHL you're making $2,200 a year. I'm not saying he would have made it. I don't know. But he quit pro hockey after a year and went to the mill because he wasn't owned by the Leafs. That's how big a Leaf fan he was. Saturday in my house, it was the only time you could eat dinner in front of the TV. Saturday night, Hockey Night Canada, and we had to stand for the anthem, and it was always the Leafs. So
Wow.
getting
That's
drafted to the Leafs was huge. And then meeting my idol and becoming friends with Boria was phenomenal. So I got to play with him for 5 years in Toronto. And then you get traded from your favorite team to the team that you disliked the most as a kid, the Montreal Canadiens. My dad passed away when I was 13 years old. And so when I was my first game playing in Montreal after the trade, I was in the basement of Chicago, as you guys both probably played in the old rink. And I remember right before I put on the Montreal jersey, I held it up to the ceiling and I said, "Sorry, Dad." And I put on that jersey, and I'm proud to have played for that team. It's unbelievable. Montreal is such a hockey mecca.
We're showing your goal right now on the tube right now.
Oh, against Hartford.
Yeah. Didn't he assist on that?
Yeah, he and Shane Corson. Yeah.
Amazing.
Funny, like 2 periods before that, they were booing me. And then
That's
my own
Montreal.
fans. Yeah, Montreal.
I think I know where you went after the game in Montreal too to celebrate, but
Oh God. Yeah. But you're right. I'm lucky. I played in New York. I played in Vancouver, which felt like my hometown. Minnesota, unfortunately, they announced that Christmas we were leaving, and so nobody showed up to the games. It sucked the last half of the year, and we were not making the playoffs. Dallas was unbelievable because we brought this new game to Dallas, and the excitement of the team and the city was phenomenal. That was fun. LA was interesting to me. Not a lot of pressure to play back then. Coming out of the places that I played, if you didn't play well, the next day was always tough until the next game. And I just felt like the young guys who went to LA back then just didn't know what hockey pressure was like. And it was frustrating. But as you get older, I don't know how you guys felt at the end of your career, but you feel like you got a lot more left in the engine, and the coach maybe doesn't think so. So, it's a combination of me and your location and where you're playing. But overall, I'm so blessed to have played in the NHL and where I played and who I played with, all the great players I played with. And
Hey Russ, I got to interrupt you quickly here. Favorite part of the show is the Nash Crasher. And we got a guy that wants to say hello to you right now.
Hey, Russ. Wendell here. Yeah, it took me about 30 years to figure out to come south like you, hanging out in LA all these years. Now I know what you're looking at. Well, my luck. I come south. Frost delay. Who has a frost delay in Florida? Hey, all the best, you and Tyson. I'm going to get bored, so I think I'm going to go over here next door to the condo they're building and see if I can get a job. Remember, Leafs. Remember, Russ. Go Leafs, go.
How awesome is that? That is my favorite player of all time.
You know, he's probably my my best friend from hockey. We went to school together. We were at Notre Dame in Saskatchewan, and he was a defenseman. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but he never played forward till he got to the NHL. Drafted first overall as a D-man, never played a shift in the NHL as a defenseman, and went on to become, I mean, if he didn't hurt his back, he'd probably be in the Hall of Fame, but for sure in Toronto, he is their Hall of Famer. He's a stud. And Clarky and I, we were friends before he got there, and then our relationship just, it was so awesome. And then we played on the same line together. They called us the Hound Line. Gary Leeman went to Notre Dame, Wendell and myself. And Clarky used to always say to me, Russ, after the whistle, if shit's happening, he goes, count to 3. If I'm not there, you're on your own. I'm fighting somebody else.
Like you said, he is the epitome of class, and I get to see him a lot being in Ontario still. Like, just anyone out there, watch his fights, watch his hits, and you talk about being organically in a fight, like you said, Russ. Organically, he got into so many fights because he destroyed
The goalie.
destroyed everyone, and then he was the first one. He'd fight the toughest guy on the other team.
Yeah.
And the best thing I ever heard from like him and Chaser and the boys from Saskatchewan, like, what's the toughest team you ever played on? And they're like, our summer softball team.
Yeah.
It was the Clarks, it was Chaser, it was Joey Kosher, Barry Melrose. That's my absolute favorite. But like you said, he'd be a Hall of Famer if his back didn't give out, could score goals, could beat up your tough guy, all of the above. Such an awesome dude.
Do you want to hear the story of how I tell people how tough he was? Do we have time?
Yeah,
I don't know how
of
much
course,
time we have. So we're in Detroit. Basil McRae is actually a rookie that year. He came from Toronto. We should never have given up Basil. He would have helped us so much. But anyways, he ends up in Detroit. We have a 5-on-5 brawl. The Hound Line. Wendel Clark, Russ Courtnall, Gary Leeman. Wendell was the heaviest at 180. And Bob McGill and I can't remember who else we had on D, Matt. The puck drops. It's Bob Probert is fighting Wendel Clark. Harold Snaps is on the ice. He probably fought Bob McGill. Gary Leeman's fighting some guy, and Basil McRae ends up choking me. And Basil's respectful guy. He knows he's like 60 pounds heavier than me. He just starts choking me and lifting me up in the air like this. And I'm going, ah. And Wendell is beating the shit out of Bob Probert at center ice. I mean, he is hitting him so hard. And he's yelling at Basil at the same time and goes, if you don't let him go, after I'm done with him, I'm going to kick your ass. And Basil let me go. That's how tough Wendel Clark is.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's wild.
Threatening somebody as he's beating up one of the toughest guys ever to play the game. When Wendell hurt his back, Basil got him one night after Wendell, but before he hurt his back, Wendell used to beat him up. And I mean, Wendell is unbelievable. One of the scariest fighters I ever saw, because when he fought, it didn't matter who you were, he fought the same way. And he beat the crap out of so many guys. Oh my God, it was unbelievable.
You were getting hit and get hit hard.
Oh, yeah. Just Google whenever Kelly Chase and I talk about Wendel Clark and how tough he is, we just tell our friends who are non-hockey guys, hey, just Google Wendel Clark and fights. And after 5 minutes, they're going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Oh yeah.
His highlight reel is about an hour and a half long.
Oh yeah.
Unbelievable.
good.
Russ, your family, we talk about the Hughes family, right? But your family is right there along the same bloodlines, right? When you look at you and your brother, your dad, your two daughters, your son Lawton, all Division I scholarships. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Your son-in-law, your mother-in-law, Sarah Vaughn, like, are you kidding me? Does it get anybody? Your wife, an unreal track and field athlete, and then an amazing actress on top of it all. So your family, I mean, what are you guys drinking over there?
Well, we're drinking as one crew tonight, but I'm glad you brought up Sarah Vaughn, my mother-in-law, because my camera is balancing on her Emmy right now. I was trying to figure out how to do this because I don't do this as often. So I will show you after what the camera that's shooting my ugly mug is resting on her trophy. Our family is so fortunate. My mom and dad were athletes, great people, donated all their time. We didn't have a lot of money. And the one thing that our parents instilled in us was whatever you start, you got to finish and you got to do the best to your ability. And that's all we've done with our kids is start what you finish, whether you like it or not, and do it to the best of your ability. And my kids, my two daughters are amazing athletes. My son, amazing athlete. My one daughter now is playing professional soccer for Bay FC. She's 23. Wow. Our son-in-law finished the year with the 49ers, Eric Hendricks. And life is amazing. We're all very, very blessed and fortunate. And I'm just happy that my kids are doing well. Like my son now is not playing hockey, he's selling real estate in Charleston and really, really enjoying it. But he had a college career, pro career for 3 years, and now he's moved on. My oldest daughter met her husband in college at UCLA, and we have 2 grandchildren. And my wife is babysitting me. Oh,
there's your wine you're drinking right there. We're showing your wine. Give us the story behind this great wine. It is literally some of the best wine I've ever tasted. When Russ is pouring, I am drinking. Except it doesn't come in box wine, so I can't afford it. You guys have seen my resume.
It's funny. My two of my friends I met after they did this. They created 100 Acre wine, and they Jason and Chris separated. Jason bought out Chris Radomski, and so Chris, during the pandemic, we're always I like to cook. We all like wine, so there's like 4 or 5 of us on this group text. What are you cooking? What are you drinking? And Chris decided we're going to create this wine called As One Crew, because we're 4 or 5 guys sharing stories about wine and food. And so we got this great wine, Cabernet and Pinot and sparkling wine, and he's growing it. He knows the business, and I'm just drinking it and helping promote it. So that's what I'm drinking tonight. Well, 2017 Napa Valley As One Crew, rated 99. If you go on the website, you can order it.
Not in Canada, buddy. Not in Canada. We can't get it up there now. We gotta get this terrorist back so I can get some California cabs up here.
And Chris he's from Toronto and Jason's from Vancouver. It's crazy, but Chris Radomski is the main guy in it. And we've got a few great guys involved in it, and it's fun. But it's good wine. So
it is good wine.
Darius Rucker is part of it now, which is cool. So he's promoting it.
Wow.
You're a Darius Rucker fan?
Yeah, funny, last time I saw him live, I was at Luke Bryan's Crash My Playa in Mexico, and he was doing a 3-day country concert on on the water after, and he got up to try to sing a song and forgot the words to his own song. He was just buckled.
Jesus.
So Luke, remind him about that one. Yeah, he got up on like the day before he was to start his little thing. He was just buckled in his little red Solo cup on the ocean.
Russ, I can't thank you enough, buddy. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
We could do 2 more shows, 3 more shows. We didn't get into half of it, unfortunately. You have so many great stories, and you're just a great human. Always from the heart, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
See you, Russ.
Thanks, guys. Continued success. Keep it going.
Tell your brother to slow it down out there.
Yeah, I will.
See you, Rusty. Well, folks, there you have it. My good buddy, Russ Courtnall, as good as it gets, swirling the wine. This guy loves a cigar, loves a glass of grape, and he shares it with everyone. And he, honestly, he's one of the best storytellers that you'll ever meet. When you finish golf and you're sitting at the round table, this guy, the stories just fly, right? And it's so funny. He's got a big personality. Obviously, his brother Jeff, who I played with in St. Louis. I hope everyone enjoyed all the conversations, all the stories that Russ talked about, his days with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Playing with Wendel Clark and Gary Leeman. I mean, this guy literally did it all except win a Stanley Cup, literally. But his brother did. And his brother, the funny part was he was undrafted. Russ was 7th overall, I think, to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Jeff was not drafted. Jeff scored 100 more goals in the National Hockey League and won a Stanley Cup. So it's just crazy how that goes, right? Motivation. Some guys develop a little later than others, if you will. And that was a perfect example of it. So I hope everyone loved that interview. I know I did. Always enjoy sitting down with Russ, talking to him. But it was a good one.
Over 1,000 games in the NHL for Russ Courtnall, and luckily for him, none of them with Tyson Nash. But Jeff did not escape. Great conversation, Nasher, and glad to have you back in town. Getting dinner here. In a little bit. So
absolutely
excited and scared at the same time.
Hey, you pick the spot, or you leave it to me. It's your call. So I owe you, buddy. I absolutely owe you. You have been such a great co-host through all this, all my shenanigans. I know you shake your head at me a lot, so I owe you big time.
No.
And we lost, so it's basically Team Canada buying dinner for Team USA. So
perfect. And I saw a great tweet. I forget who had it. It was a random account, but the tweet was from an American, obviously, and he said, "My tax dollars better be going to fixing that guy's teeth." And he was talking about Jack Hughes. So that's where our funds should be going, is the important things like fixing Jack Hughes' teeth after he lost a couple jibs. But one more note on the Olympics before we cut out here, Nasher. No Sidney Crosby in that gold medal game. You have to mention that. Who knows what kind of impact he would have had on that game? Obviously, he has that winning pedigree. He has gold medal pedigree. But gosh, really tough to see him not able to suit up for that gold medal game.
Yeah, a lot of people were talking about that, as an afterthought, right? But he didn't play in the semifinal game, so you knew it was bad. And it must have been bad because this guy is all ball bearings, man. If he could play on one leg, he would have, right? Just to have him, I was a little surprised because I did see him dressed on the ice to receive his silver medal, and he looked good, by the way. A little salt and pepper in the loaf, like he's getting better looking.
Touch of gray.
Yeah, he's getting better looking as he gets older. But I would have loved to see him just even on the bench, right, as a calming influence. I don't know if that was talked about it with John Cooper, the head coach of Team Canada, or not, but I think that just would have had a big impact whether he played or not. But obviously you knew he was hurt because he didn't play. So
yeah, another one of those storylines where you think, okay, what does that mean for his NHL team? Right now, Pittsburgh second in the Metro, but it's a very competitive Eastern Conference. So you hope that Crosby can get back out there at 38 years of age. Guys are playing longer and longer now. I mean, is that the last time we see Sidney Crosby in the Olympics? You hope not. There aren't a ton of 40-plus guys who are playing at that level, though. If there is a guy who can do it, it's 87, no doubt. but disappointing. I'm sure for him more than anybody else not to be able to suit it up for the Maple Leaf.
Fultz, I want to say one thing too. One last thing, and I know he was a bubble player, but are you kidding me? Celebrini, how good is that kid? I mean, we talked about McKinnon. Celebrini, I think, had the best scoring chances of any player on any team in that last game and all tournament long. He absolutely blew the socks off of me because I don't spend a lot of time and energy watching San Jose Sharks hockey, right? But I'm going to now. I can tell you that San Jose is in good hands with that kid because he is a special talent.
Oh, it's a good thing you mentioned him right after we brought up Crosby because it feels like that same type of trajectory. He's certainly a household name now. I mean, I think he was before too, but he was incredible playing top minutes with the top guys, with McKinnon and McDavid, and he was keeping up with them and then some. So he was fun to watch. Tournament's leading goal scorer, I believe.
He was?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't even know that. Like, I don't even know. And I don't even care. I know you're probably researching. I don't even care because it's the eyeball test, right? Every time he was on the ice, he was making things happen. I'm like, who's that guy? Who's that guy? And it was him every time making plays. He didn't make a lot of mistakes. And I loved what John Cooper said after the tournament when he was interviewed about him. He was like, here was a kid that he came in a little hot. He was trying things that you just can't try when you're playing against the best players in the world. You want players to be creative, all those things, but you have to play solid defense. And he fixed and tweaked his game instantaneously. He goes, that is a sign of a superstar when they can adjust that quickly. He goes, yeah, he still was creative. He was still all those things. But when you're playing against the best players in the world, not only in general, but on that top line, you cannot afford to make a mistake on the blue lines like some of those guys do, right? So I found it fascinating. And again, John Cooper, the head coach, was blown away by this kid's talent.
5 goals for Celebrini to lead the tournament.
Is that good?
Yeah, no kidding. Nah, like I said, he was playing with those top guys, but still, Sharks in good hands for sure with the Mac attack. But 3 games for the Mammoth coming up this week. All Central Division opponents. We got Colorado Wednesday, Minnesota Friday, Chicago Sunday. That's the NASHCAST Altcast, which is going to be a ton of fun. Tyson, can't wait for that, my man.
Can't wait either. Returning guest, by the way. We had Trevor Lewis. He's so pumped. He wanted to come on the show as a co-host. And Mike Weir as well. Like, I am blown away. Literally, Mike Weir was like, no, I'll do it anytime. I want to do it. I don't want to come on as a guest again, but I want to co-host with you. I want to sit in. I want to do all the chirping. I want to do the interviewing. Like, I'm honestly, Fultz, I cannot believe the NASHCAST has been so great. I know we don't have a ton of followers yet, ton of subscribers on YouTube, which are all our social media platforms, NASHCAST Official, Instagram, Twitter, or X, YouTube, Spotify, Apple. I think we're getting TikTok here soon as well. So hopefully that blows us up a little bit. But some of the guests that I have had the opportunity to interview, whether it's on the podcast or on the NASCAST, the live show this year, I'm sitting with Mike Weir. This guy's a Canadian legend, like the best Canadian golfer in the history of Canadian golf. Green jacket from Tiger Woods. He is my co-host on my show. Like, I go through the list sometimes of all the people, Fultz, that we've interviewed. And I'm like, this is pretty freaking cool, man. Like, what an opportunity. What a gift. First of all, this has been given to me from Ryan Smith and Ashley, the ownership group. So thank you to them. I just wanted to say that quickly. But just the opportunity. And we're getting it out there. And it's another tool. It's another platform for the great fans in Utah to take in a hockey game. Yes, everyone wants to listen to you, Fultz. I know that. It's a given. And obviously, Matt McConnell, God, that kills me to say it, and Dom and Nick.
We'll cut this out.
Yeah, and Nick and Kim and Sarah, all the things. But it's another way you can take in a hockey game, right? And that's the beauty of it. Some people like it old school, but some people want to sit and hear the stories. So We got a big promotion, I think, as well that we didn't touch on for this show. And I think, I don't know if it's on Seg Plus or where you can find it exactly, but I think there's a 7-day free trial somewhere for the NASHCAST to take it all in, soak it all in, Foltz. So I just wanted to get that out there. But thanks, everyone. Thank you, Foltz, as always. I'll see you at dinner, brother. I'm buying. Bring your appetite, and we'll make sure we get very hydrated. And after, we're going to the Lake Effect for one, buddy.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Had to get a mention in. That's great. Thanks, everybody.